Hello, my knowledge thirsty beauties, and welcome to another episode of DP2daBrain. We got another exciting episode to keep those frontal cortexes nice and fat. With me today, Mr. Connor Swats, host of the Simple Soccer Podcast, football player, his just about his whole life, and one passionate soccer fan. Love to have you on, Connor. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me, man. What's up, guys?
So I think we should start out here with a little fun project I put together yesterday. Pull it up here. Is U.S. men's national team tier list. Now, this is based on right now we're recording about the 30th. So, but I'll tell you what. Let's start from the bottom here, and I'm gonna say some of the names that didn't quite make the list. People like Chase Gasper, Matt Freeze, Aaron Herrera, are a couple of the players that are bouncing around. Chris Kloster is another one who haven't quite gotten enough senior minutes to get a ranking, but they are definitely names to keep an eye on or whatnot. And also not pictured in this tier list, but ranked is Timmy Chandler at F, Shaq Moore at E, Steve Birnbaum at D, and Iko Para at D. And I don't know, just first take. Swats, and are any of them particularly sticking out to you? What are the hottest takes I got on there?
Honestly, when you said not ranked due to like a senior playing time, I thought of Aaron Herrera because I know he played really. If I'm thinking right, he's the one that was playing the U23s when they lost under us, right?
Sure.
But he honestly stood out to me. His crosses looked really, really good. Reminded me a lot of like Reece James a little bit with his crosses, like with the in swinging crosses. So I'd maybe even put him to an F tier because, yeah, he's better than some of the players on here already, just from like the little bits I saw.
Yeah. Those bottom three tiers, no rank, youth, and F tier, those are all kind of close together.
Yeah.
It's very dependent on how much playing time they've gotten and so forth. And arguments could definitely be made, especially for the youth ones. But I just wanted to point out some of the names that haven't necessarily locked down starting week in, week out football.
Yeah, makes
And
sense.
then going down to youth, Palmer Brown. Obviously, we've been hearing a lot about Conrad. Yanez, he played with Zach Steffen last year at Dusseldorf. Um, some of these names are dual nationals that we have yet to lock down. Someone on Twitter was telling me that Kobe Hernandez Foster is likely to pledge to Honduras soon. Sebastian Soto, I considered putting in E tier, but I thought he's not quite got enough minutes yet. CJ Dos Santos is an exciting prospect. Otasawi and Odunzi, especially, that's the Wolverhampton and Leicester players, respectively, are looking exciting. And then I'd like to give a little shout out to Kik Pierre. He's another one of the dual nationals. He's playing in Eredivisie right now, but I think he could be a real coup if we can get him to commit to us. And then I'm a Crew fan, so I got to give a shout out to Bouba Keita, the homegrown player from Columbus. Any other youth players' names you think are bouncing around that I didn't include on this list that maybe deserve a shout out?
Honestly, I think you included all of them, but the main ones I really want to shout out are Matthew Hoppy. I think that's how you say his last name.
Mm-hmm.
He's supposedly supposed to be,
lad, yes.
Yeah, but he's getting looked at by Bayern Munich right now, apparently. So that would be nice. Even obviously, he would never hit the starting lineup in the next 2 years because Lewandowski's there and like their attack is too much. But just having him train at that level, as we've seen, has like made players just be that much better. So
yes, he was one of the ones that I was definitely considering sneaking up into the E tier, maybe.
Yeah, look for him to possibly like jump through this national team and like compete with Sargent and DK. Like honestly.
And then one big name, Balogun. Balogun, I don't know if that's how it's pronounced. He's in the Arsenal Youth Academy, which I know that didn't quite work out for Zalelum, I believe it's pronounced, who is not on this list because he's a bit too old. But I think he's still potentially in the pool, depending on how his MLS career goes. I don't know. I'm hoping Zelalem, I don't know. He seemed a lot more promising than he's seeming to turn out to be, but you never know.
Yeah, honestly.
All right, F tier, we'll run through them real quick because there's just a couple. Tim Ream, maybe I'd be memeing that up a little bit, but I promised my little I'd put
No,
an F tier. So
it's
he
right
is.
there. No, it's right there. That's where he should be. He should stay there until he performs.
David Ochoa, that one's also a bit mean. It's more just about the goal he gave up against Honduras in the under-23 match. Realistically, he's probably more of a D tier, but that was such an unacceptable goal. And
Yeah,
so
honestly.
we'll talk about the unacceptable failure in a little bit, but he kind of has to take at least part of the blame for that. Brad Guzan, please stop calling him up. Michael Bradley, please stop calling him up. Tyler Miller, he's one of the players, he and Lucio Pineda both, they're an F2, not necessarily as a bad mark against them. Neither one have gotten particularly much of a shout for the national team, but I don't know. They're still in the pool and deserve the ranking, in my opinion. Anyone else you think belongs in that F tier?
Maybe Altidore now. Altidore's getting really old. I really don't want to ever see Altidore's name up on this, like, in the national team again. We have enough players.
He was definitely on the line.
I'd probably bring him down, but I guess we can hop to the E tier.
Yeah. E tier. Aaron Johansson, now he hasn't really been around for a good minute, but he was kind of the hot thing. Altidore, which we discussed, he was right there on the line from E to F. Tyler Boyd, he's in Turkey right now. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but he is playing on the same team as DeAndre Yedlin or just in the same league?
I believe it's the same team now.
Okay. Well, I knew yes.
Because I knew he got a transfer, but I'm not sure where it was to.
And then I kind of grouped all these guys together: Akinola, Benji Michel, and Daryl DK. That Orlando crew who is kind of just entering the pool now. They're young. Daryl DK especially, I got a lot of flack for putting him in E tier, but to be honest, I was quite unimpressed by his finishing in the Northern Ireland game. He had 2 one-on-ones, and he should have scored at least 1 goal, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, DK, I would like to see him in like the DC tier, but honestly, I see it because of that performance. Why you put him there?
Johnson and Hamid, I consider them essentially equal. They're fine depth, but I wouldn't want to start them. 2 players that I think are kind of interesting and on that hill where they're either going to take off or they're going to flatline. Paxton Pamacao, I believe he just went to Montreal, and then Jordy Mihalovic of Chicago Fire. They've both been showing flashes for a while now, but they need to get the consistency and toughen their fortitude a little bit. And then also Daniel Lovitz is exciting. Haji Wright is someone I don't feel like enough people are talking about.
I've never seen much of Haji Wright before.
Yes, I want to say, oh gosh, see, I'm a bit ignorant, and I'm gonna do a full video breaking this whole tier list down. But I want to say he starts, I know for sure, but I want to say Danish Superliga maybe. Okay. Don't quote me on that. And then we saw a bit of Sia Bachel. I hope I'm saying that right. He started the Northern Ireland game, and I saw flashes of some exciting stuff there.
Yeah, honestly, I watched probably 60 minutes of that Northern Ireland game, and it looked like we were pretty dominant throughout the whole day, but it's just gave it up.
Give a little shout out to Jeremy Abobasi for Portland. I think he's I don't think he'll ever get to a point where he'll be good enough to be in the conversation for starting, but I think he can represent some solid depth, maybe in less valuable competitions, if you will.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think some of these players are definitely on the down. Johansson, Altidore, Roldan, to name a few, but a lot of these players could definitely see their stock rising in the next couple of years. So this is one of the more exciting tiers, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. It's nice to see the names that I grew up with drop out of the team list and new names come in.
Yes. Agreed. All right. Let us move on to the D tier. Now, this is where we see a lot more of the more familiar names from the past 5 or so years. Jordan Morris, which, on a side note, absolutely gutted to see his injury with Bonzi.
For
That's
sure.
terrible. Hate to see it. Jonathan Lewis, he's still young, but he always shows exciting flashes when he's on the field. I think Yedlin's still in the pool, but he needs to. I'm hoping that his career takes a bit of a bounce back in Turkey.
Absolutely.
Bobby Wood and Chris Muller, I find them to be similar high energy players, and I like them. JT is fine. Paul is decent, decent depth, I think. Will Trapp that one really hurt me. I wish he was higher up, but I think D tier is more than fair for.
Yeah, D tier is where he is, definitely.
I think he brings a lot of intangibles and off the field stuff, which is very important, especially in a tournament type scenario. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him making 23s more for his intangibles off the field, as
I can see it.
Contribution he would make on the field, because and we'll get into this soon. The core is good and young, but we're maybe lacking a bit more in the veteran maturity level. And I think
for sure.
I think we saw that when we struggled to close both of those games out. I mean, Jamaica, we popped in some late ones, but I think we showed a lack of maturity in both of those games and how we closed them out.
Yeah.
If you would agree with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Gioacchini, he's exciting. I like Gioacchini. Miles Robinson, exciting. Omar Gonzalez, more on the way down, but he's still getting somewhat. He's still somewhat consistent player. Ledesma is more of an exciting prospect, and Carter Vickers is kind of an interesting one because he's been under contract with Tottenham since 2016, I believe, but he's been bouncing around on loan everywhere. So it's starting to get to the point where he either needs to find a new home club, or he really needs to start competing for playing time at Tottenham. So, and I think the former is probably a lot more likely than the latter, but I'd like to see him at a low level Prem, high level championship team.
The player I like that you said is Ledesma. Honestly, Ledesma, if he wasn't hurt right now, he'd be regularly starting for PSV. Well, not regularly maybe, but he'd get a start here and there. He was breaking into the first team when he got towards ACL.
Yeah, and unfortunately there has been some waiting for current form and such, which is we'll get to that with the most controversial pick that's on the A tier, and also Jordan Morris, when he's healthy and firing, could probably be fighting for a C tier spot, but he's unfortunately, and then like you said, Ledesma, he's young too, so very exciting prospect.
He's 17, I think.
Yeah, a couple exciting prospects in here and a couple veterans in here. I'm a big fan of Lewis personally. I always find he brings a spark whenever he comes in, and he's not someone who we want to be starting, but when we start looking at who we want to bring on 15 minutes left looking for a spark, I don't think he's too bad of a choice.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
All right, awesome. All right, now as we get on up the tiers here, it's getting a little bit shorter and easier to read. This one was a little bit tough. Some of these B versus C tiers were some of my tougher decisions. Ethan Horvath, I think that's a solid C. Sargent was one that I really pushed back and forth on. What do you think? Sargent is B or C?
C.
See?
He doesn't score enough goals. He doesn't have enough individuality up top. Like he'll get assists, but we need goals.
I love his work outside the 18.
Yeah.
Mark McKenzie, excited to see how his European transfer works out. He was very solid for a very good Philadelphia team. Reggie Cannon, I like Reggie Cannon going forward a lot more than I like him defending.
Yeah.
But he's very much like Harrison Awful for the Columbus Crew, so he fits right into the Greg Berhalter system.
Yeah.
He's got to square away his defensive stuff. Aaron Long, I think, is dependable, not spectacular. Julian Green, a lot of people have been calling for Julian Green call-ups.
Yes, I agree. Julian Green is a good player. Honestly, if you watch some of his highlights recently, he's really good.
I would definitely agree he deserves a call up and a look for sure.
Yeah,
Jackson Ewell hit that screamer in the Olympic failure.
great shot.
I mean, I think he's a very he's a Tony Cruz type player, metronomic holding midfielder that can hit long and short. I like him as a youth. As a youth depth. He's kind of like what Bradley could have been and should have been. Nick Lima, a little more controversial, D to C tier, but I think he's earned C tier. Turner had an amazing season for New England. He was on fire. Reynolds just made the big switch, exciting. And Ike Opara, he's not, in terms of actuality, he's not really in the pool, but I think he deserves a mention for his quality. So
yeah, honestly,
any thoughts
I
on
wish
C?
I wish Icopar would come to the national team.
Oh, there's someone definitely on B tier that applies to, but I don't know. What do you think? Anyone higher? Anyone lower?
No, I think you got it about right. I don't know about Nick Lima, but Ethan Horvath is definitely C tier. I like Ethan Horvath a lot. I've always liked him.
I think going forward, he would be our best backup from anyone else that I've seen, probably.
And honestly, he kind of he competes with Stefan at times because Stefan sometimes can do a little bit mistakes.
Yeah, we'll talk Zach in a second. Going on up to B tier. Now, this one was a hard one for me to separate Chris Richards from Brian Reynolds. They're in a similar boat, but Richards been getting some minutes for Hoffenheim lately and not doing too bad in the process. So I gave him just the edge over Brian Reynolds. Miazga, I like Miazga. He's playing for Mr. Vincent Company, and I think that's a great coach for him to be playing for. Leggett, I think, really showed himself well in these two friendlies, and is another one of those players you can bring off the bench late looking for a spark, and someone else who's going to bring a little more experience in that off the field intangible that we're talking about with Will Trapp. Tim Weah, he's been tearing it up for Lille, who
for sure. He's an exciting player to watch.
Right in the middle of the competition for Ligue 1. Anthony Robinson has been shown out for Fulham. He needs to tighten up his defense a little bit, but he's looking really exciting. He's got good energy. The one we were talking about before, someone who's out of the loop, Darlington Nagbe. If there's one player I could get back into the pool, it would be Darlington Nagbe.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. And, Crew fan here, so maybe a little biased, but he is so technically gifted, or technically proficient. I guess I wouldn't say gifted, but in terms of technical ability, he's better than Acosta. He's better than Aronson. He's better than Leggett.
But every time he's in the national team, he doesn't really do anything. Like, he does those things for club, but he hasn't really performed at that level when he has been called up nationally.
There's
as much as he has, I should say.
We definitely got weight to that. I think he is definitely a player that has matured and gotten better over time. I think the Darlington Nagbe of now is probably one of the best, if not the best versions of him. Because he used to be more of like a pacey winger, and now he's more of a keep the ball, ball handling, dribbling, holding midfielder with good passing. But generally, he and Kellen Acosta maybe should be a C tier, maybe. But I put the two of them in similar standing. They have similar skill sets. Acosta is a bit more explosive on the north-south, but Darlington has a bit better ball control. But anyway, Walker Zimmerman, I think he's one of our better center backs. He's got outside of Brooks, I think he's got the second best passing of any center back we have.
Yeah.
Brendan Aronson, that's another one that I was torn about C and B tier. In terms of his absolute quality, he's pure B tier to me. The only question was whether he's had enough time playing at a high level to justify B tier. I don't know. What's your take on Aronson?
The games that I haven't really seen much of him. I just saw him in that friendly. I think it was a few days ago. He looked good. Maybe not B tier yet. Maybe C tier, just because of how new he is into the system. But sure. he got a goal 2 friendlies ago, so
Oh,
Granted, it wasn't. It
that's a
was a
big
tap
facet
in.
of his game. That's a
It
big
was a
facet of his game is being a goal scoring midfielder.
yeah. So hey, we
And
need him. We need
he's
goal scoring midfielders.
and he's only 18, so very
Yeah.
exciting
So
prospect.
yeah. So
Just moved
maybe
to
maybe C tier right now just because of like how new he is to the system, but like could easily be B or A tier one day.
and very excitingly, he's going to play for Jesse Marsh at RB Salzburg,
Oh, that's exciting.
which a lot of times can provide a nice pipeline. But RB Leipzig, and which has been pretty successful for more than a few players.
Yeah. Hopefully, works for Holland. No, it didn't. Holland.
Oh, and
Go
I think
back.
we have to touch on easily my most controversial and maybe a bit of a meme pick just to rustle a few jimmies. Jussie Zardes, solid
Hey.
B tier.
I agree with it. He scores.
Oh, okay. I mean, the man scores goals.
Yeah,
Gotta
he
give him
scores.
that.
He
Good
scores
instinct.
goals in the MLS. So like, I don't know. I say why not? Just have him in there. He's
All right, well, here is my two main arguments for Jossie versus Sargent. I think almost anyone would agree that's your main two. Josie Altidore, I mean, even a couple months ago, people on TV were like, I think Josie Altidore is the best in the pool. Get out of here.
no way.
Alexi
Not
Lawless.
even close.
Alexi
Yeah.
Lawless, thinking he's a smart ginger soccer commentator. But anyway, he scores goals. He's got goal scoring instinct, and he fits perfectly into the Greg Berhalter system of scoring goals. Lots of really nice and clean balls in that you just need to have. I mean, there was, I think, a couple times in the friendly you saw where there was some nice play, but be it Sargent or versus, I think you saw Sia Bache, who sometimes had some nice energy, but didn't quite know where to be. That's Jossie's biggest strength is knowing where to be, where the play is going to end, and just being there for the simple. People
Yeah.
give people crap for scoring tap-in goals, but it's definitely a skill of its own to know where to be.
Exactly.
Very very Jared Muller style. But that's not to take away from he's definitely improved his hold-up play. He puts in defensive shifts. He's got there's a lot of upsides to Jossie.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
The
He's strong.
thing that
Strong and
separates him from
fast.
Sargent, in my opinion, is Sargent is a better player outside the 18-yard box. Jossie is a better player inside the 18-yard box. And that's what gives him the edge to me.
I agree. Yeah. Because I don't know, Sargent just hasn't proved himself as a goal scorer. He hasn't.
Not yet.
He's proved
Not
himself
yet.
as a
I think he
hold-up
can.
striker.
I think he can.
Do we want that again? Do we want another Josie Altidore?
No, of course not.
No, thank you. I'd rather have a guy that's just gonna go in and get goals. I want a guy that's gonna break like Donovan numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, especially with the creativity that's going to be around him up in
Exactly.
getting into the next tier. All right, A tier. I got to start with it because it was the one that I got so much crap about on Twitter. Christian Pulisic A tier. I had a lot of people feeling he should have been an S tier. What's your take?
I think
As
he's
a
S
Chelsea
tier.
fan, as a Chelsea fan,
As
we'll
a
put that out
as
there.
as a Chelsea fan, I think he should be S tier. But I also see why you've put him in A tier, just because like one, he struggled with injuries. Two, he's struggling with just getting playing time under Tuchel. So like he's not really getting the performances, and so like it's not really coming off. Like he's not clicking right now. He's not in his own chemistry. So he's kind of like a shell of himself right now, because like he could be really good. He could be scoring day in and day out for the United States and for Chelsea. But
Agreed.
right now he's just struggling.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of that was one of my main arguments. I had a couple of people who felt John Brooks should have been S tier as well. Thoughts on that?
Probably not.
Yeah, I responded. I said he's got a few too many Otamendi style over pursuits.
Yeah. We don't have any solid enough defenders to be S tier yet.
But his passing is critical and it's great and I love it.
Yeah.
Zach, I love Zach Steffen. He's just a little too casual sometimes.
Yep.
But he's definitely, I mean, he's got it. You can tell he's got it. He's just got to figure a couple things out.
Yeah, he just needs to get a little bit older, even though he's already like 26, right? 24.
Yeah, but for a goalkeeper, that's pretty young.
Yeah.
I think. Well, here's my prediction for him in terms of club situation, because it's kind of a critical situation. So I think obviously he finishes out the season there, cup competitions, all that good stuff. That's great. I think he should have stayed there and trained with them. Next season, I think he needs to get himself a season-long loan to a high-quality team. The one that makes the most sense to me right off the bat would be Borussia Dortmund. He's comfortable in Germany. They like loans. They like young players. They like free stuff. A lot of reasons. Man
Yeah.
City can buy some old person to sit on the bench and, look good. Give him one season playing top flight football in Germany. And then he comes back and he and Ederson just got to go at it. And it's either going to be him or it's going to be Ederson. And, winner stays, loser goes. So I think that's he's got about a year and a half to take Ederson out. So I think
Yeah.
in a very practical sense, if he wants to be the starter for Manchester City, and I think he can have a fantastic career, maybe even a better one if he's not. I mean, I don't think he has to be the Man City goalkeeper.
No, not at all.
Especially under Pep Guardiola. But realistically, I think that's the kind of club situation he's looking at, because I think a lot of people are concerned about the potential lack of playing time. I don't think anyone wants to see a situation in which he is spending multiple seasons as a backup. That's not going to be good. That's not going to be beneficial for anyone, in my opinion.
Nobody needs that. We definitely don't. If Tim Howard can go start for an Everton team, Zach Steffen needs to go start for another team.
Yeah. Off the top of my head, like I said, even if it's not in the EPL, Germany could be a good fit for him. Or I don't know, maybe Chelsea, maybe Tottenham.
No thanks. I don't want him at Chelsea.
Hugo Lloris is think in a couple of years if he keeps improving. Hugo Lloris is starting to get a little old. Maybe Tottenham.
I can see him going to Tottenham. Honestly,
I could see him going tons of places. But I'd like to see him. I'd like to see the competition between him and Ederson, because Ederson's a top goalkeeper. So, and then also shout out to our newest coop, Mr. Yunus Musa. I love that name.
Woo. Can't spell,
raw, but man, his north-south.
Can't spell Musa without USA.
His north-south is ridiculous. Where he turns on the ball, he's so technical.
Mm-hmm.
And also Gio Reyna, very technical, but still a little bit. In my opinion, he can still be a bit immature in his decision making in the final third.
Yeah, definitely A tier though.
Very Phil Foden-esque, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And then, this is the argument I'm trying to make on S tier. I didn't mean any disrespect to any of the players in A tier or anything, but to be completely honest, Sergino and Weston McKennie have broken the curve.
Yep.
Both of their performances this season are just so beyond. I mean, no disrespect to Christian's quality. He is a great player, but the consistent week in, week out form that you've been seeing from Dest and Weston is just I don't see making an argument that Christian is at the same level of them at this very moment.
Yep, I agree. If Christian starts getting more minutes, then he can definitely he could break that curve. He just needs to find his form. And I think if he gets 2-3 starts in a row for Tuchel, but the question is he going to get 2-3 starts in a row for Tuchel?
Yes. Post lockdown, Christian Pulisic, easy S tier. Easy. Mm-hmm. But right now it's just, and it's unfortunate because the variety of, it's for most of the reasons it's not been self-inflicted in any way. He's not a lazy player. He's not got a bad attitude or anything like that. The beard was a bit questionable, maybe.
So speaking on Pulisic, how long do you think he sits in that situation, just like Steffen, before he has to decide to leave?
I definitely don't think he leaves this summer. That would be very premature, in my opinion, unless someone comes a knocking with the right amount of money. But I don't see them selling him this year. And then, I just think it's honest competition.
Where do you think he'd be best at if he did leave? Do you think he'd be best back in Germany, or do you think another EPL team picking him up would be beneficial?
Well, Well, that's a good question because there's definitely a good argument that he has been struggling with the physicality of the Premier League. I think he's been adjusting to it decently. I could see
I
him
agree.
excelling somewhere like Spain, though. I think he would really excel in La Liga. Maybe for someone like Sevilla, perhaps.
Imagine he goes to Real Madrid.
I mean, not quite yet, but
That'd
that
be
would
so
be
crazy.
so crazy. There, I think
They
that's a
get
touch
a,
beyond him
st-
at the
a, st-
moment, but
a straight swap Christian Pulisic for Hazard. I'd do it.
oh man. I mean, yeah, if you take him, you can have him, man. Take him off. As long as you take him off our books, why don't you take Gareth Bale while you're at it?
Dude, hey, I think
But anyway, I mean, Sergino was pure class in both of these friendlies. He was
yeah,
putting
for
on
sure.
shows. And Weston, anytime I could see him in for Juventus, and it's kind of weird because the way that Pirlo is playing right now, he's sometimes playing as more of an out. He's playing on the outside of a 4-4-2, but the way that they play so what's the word? Congested in the middle.
Yeah, he kind of plays like an attacking mid.
Yeah, he plays a bit of a different role in Juventus than the box to box that we'd be seeing him at. He's a bit more attacking for Juventus, but
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, just his technical ability has improved vastly, and for both these players on the S tier, especially, we've got one learning from Messi and the other learning from Ronaldo.
Yeah, it's nice to see.
Ronaldo is, of course, renowned for his work ethic, and I think that was something that maybe Weston wasn't necessarily top tier about while he was at Schalke, but it's nice to see them learning from the best.
Yeah, for sure.
Any other takes from this?
No,
I mean, like
I just wanted to ask about that Pulisic thing, seeing when he would leave, or because I could definitely see him leaving Chelsea.
I mean, similar to Zach Steffen. I don't think it's an inherently bad thing if he does, but I think it'd be a great thing if it works out for him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think there's a variety of places he could be successful. Like I said, I think he's comfortable in Germany. I think he'd do pretty well in Spain. I don't know if Italy would necessarily suit his style as much, though. But that's just general. I mean, well, there's tons of leagues. Maybe he'll come back to the MLS one day. I'm sure he will.
God, I hope not.
Well, when he's like
older. Yeah, when he's like 38.
Yeah, well, maybe MLS will get a little bit better then. It'll be like when he's 32.
Maybe.
Speaking of old people, over under how many years? You're a soccer betting man, right? You're a gambler,
yeah,
man.
Hell yeah, I'm a gambler, man.
All right, how many more years of Zlatan do we have?
Over under 5.
I think we have 5 more years of Zlatan. He's almost 39.
Oh no, I think he's gonna go till he's like 40, 44. He just got added back. He just got added back to the national team, so that's at least 2 years.
All right, hold on. Let me stop sharing the screen for now. Hold on. I'm going to look it up. I'm looking up the price right now. Price of Ethereum. All right. Ethereum is $18.50 at the moment. If he goes 5 years or over, I will give you, I don't know, like 0.02 of an Ethereum coin. I don't know, whatever, like 50 bucks. I'll give you 50. All right, I'll bet you 50 in crypto that this man does not go another 5 years. There's no way.
All right, we'll see.
Boom. Well, I also have a crypto bet going with Maddie that she's going to find me a McDonald's Big Mac that looks like the ones in the commercial. And I said,
no way.
I said, you can have the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, army of people opening them all day, and you're never gonna find one, Maddie.
Never.
All right, so pivoting a bit off of the tier list, some very mixed results from this international break in terms of our beloved national team. You want to start with the big boys or the lads?
Let's start with the little lads. Let's talk about heartbreak first.
Yeah. Okay. Well, first things first. Unacceptable.
I mean, absolutely. Breaks my heart.
Unacceptable.
Can't believe it.
Yeah. Well, first things first, because the question I think a lot of people have are, why were a lot of highly touted players that were available not playing in that game? And I don't know. What's your take on that? Although I would like to
Shouldn't
preface
matter.
it by saying, yeah. Well, that was
It shouldn't matter.
preface with. The team we had was more than good
Yeah.
enough to beat them.
If you look at Honduras' team and like where they're playing and compared to like where the players that we put on the field are playing, like it still shouldn't matter. We were gonna play Mexico in the final, so you're resting your players for that because they just played 3 days before. So there's nothing wrong with playing the players that they played because should have been a walkover. But instead we made it difficult for ourselves early and then we just couldn't turn around.
And what would you say was it down to player mistakes? How much blame you putting at Jason Kreis? How much do you feel that he is to blame? Because when a team comes out lethargic and sloppy to a certain extent, you have to wonder what impact
a little, but not much. The players should have still won it.
Sure. And I think Jason Kreis is a perfectly fine coach. He's got a great career in MLS, so yeah. I don't think anyone's going to be calling for his head anytime soon. Nope. But I guess just more on the philosophical, theoretical level, we say that qualifying for the Olympics is a priority, and yet many of our best players who we could use in that game many of them were playing in the friendly. So, even though we had the players to win anyway, if we're saying that it's a priority, but then we're not necessarily fielding our best possible team, I don't know. What's your take on that?
That makes sense. We definitely should have at least brought down Reyna. He's 18, right? He definitely should have been playing for the 23s. Musa probably should have been playing for the 23s. Yeah.
Should just so you think I don't even know how the organization works. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, just because we won our first game against a European side in 6 years in a friendly doesn't mean that we should have done it in the expense of us not making the Olympics. Christian Pulisic even said, I would like to play in the Olympics. Having one of your top players wanting to play in the Olympics, for your U23s, that's a big thing. We should have done it. Should have taken advantage of it.
Yeah. And now I don't know organizationally how these decisions are made. I don't know if that's 100% a Greg Berhalter decision or if it's more of a, I don't understand the power structures of U.S. men's soccer or U.S. soccer in general. But would you agree to say that they maybe took an unnecessary risk in the Olympics? In order, maybe I haven't talked to Greg lately, but I think the idea was that he, with what's going on with Christian and specifically with Christian and generally with the team, he's just trying to get them all kind of rolling and acclimated to each other. And so I think that's the counter side to the argument. It's a tough one for me because international management, they get so little time with their players. So we want to build up relationship within the team as fast as we can. But at the same time, I don't know. It's a question of what's more valuable. And I think it's hard to say that qualifying for the Olympics was less valuable than whatever we got out of having the full squad together for the friendlies. So, I think it's definitely a miscalculation in broader sense. But philosophically,
all they had to do was win one game, though.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't
know. Honduras.
That is beyond any opinion or question.
It's a weak side.
Failure.
It's a very, very weak side.
And the goals we gave up, were embarrassing. That David Ochoa goal was embarrassing. Like I said, I dogged on him a little, maybe too much by putting him F tier. That was a bit of a meme pick, but really unacceptable.
Yeah, it made sense.
Yeah. So, but we'll start with the bad. Let's touch a bit on the good. The lining to the cloud. I was moderately to pretty happy with
Yeah,
the two
we
friendly
looked good.
performances.
Yeah, we looked good, mainly against Northern Ireland. Jamaica, we looked all right, but Northern Ireland, I thought we looked really good the whole time, except like the last 12 minutes. Then they got that goal, which was an immaculate goal, by the way.
Yeah,
It's a
I think we need to
screamer.
show a little bit more maturity killing the games out, which I mentioned.
Yeah,
Thoughts on the 3-4-3?
I like it.
I'm gonna disagree with you. I don't. I think we need a
I
bit
don't mind it.
more. I'd like to see us have a bit more control in the middle of the field. If we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna play that, well, if we're gonna play it, we have to have Brooks at center back so he can step up. Not, I
Yeah,
don't think we can do it with the center backs we had with Brooks and Miazga, and I maybe, and then
Richards.
but then in the middle you have Weston, Tyler Adams, and Yunus Musa.
Yeah, which one do you
I
play?
think I think I think we want to do our best to get all the idea is to get all three into a midfield.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Maybe we'll try maybe like a 3-5-2 and put all three of them in the midfield. And then maybe like
Yeah,
maybe
I don't
then
know.
Sargent and DK up top.
That'd be interesting. But also agree that I don't know. At some point, we need to stop experimenting and start, you know,
Finding.
getting acclimated to each other. Like I said, it's great that we had all the the core of the team together, but maybe we should have them do working on the core formation and such before we start messing around with other stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He's trying to get looks at as many people, and if maybe he felt like that would be the best way to get the looks at the people he wanted. Um, I personally feel Sugino is more effective as a fullback than a wingback.
Yes, definitely.
Um, and
It's a
then,
great outside back.
but then I also kind of like on the inverse, I like the kind of pinched in wide-ish forward role would I think could be really good for both Reina and Pulisic. So there's a trade-off there.
Where do you think should Pulisic play on the right or the left?
Pulisic the left. I think the
Yeah,
question
I
is
agree.
which side should Sugino play on? I think that's the real question.
I think he needs to play on the right. Even though I love the link up with him and Pulisic, but he's a better right back. Even though that cut in banger was wow.
I think the two factors to kind of think about is the link between the winger and the outside back, especially knowing the Greg Berhalter system. That link is critical, and I think Christian, assuming he plays on the left, Christian and Dest is a deadly combination. But I also agree with you that he's better on the right. I think it comes down to which depth comes out as stronger. Does Anthony Robinson come out as more dependable, or does Reggie Cannon, or I think it depends on what it depends on what the other option is, but we should avoid swapping him back and forth often. We need to pick a side and stick with it. Not that he can't, not that he can't. He is more than good enough to swap every other game, but like I said, it makes it hard to build a relationship with a winger.
Yeah. My ideal formation for the United States national team would be like a 4-3-3 and use Weston McKennie and Musa in the middle, and then Gio Reyna at that cam position, and then Pulisic, probably DK up top. I like DK a lot. I'm a big DK fan, and then way out wide.
And then who would you have as your back four? Obviously, John
back
Brooks.
Four would be John Brooks, and probably I don't know. You could swap any other center back in there, honestly.
I think the two best of the rest would be Walker Zimmerman and Matt Miazga.
Probably Matt Miazga then, and then right back would be Dest, and then the left back would actually be Tyler Adams. You still get him on the field, and then you can even push him into the middle because he's played outside back before.
Yeah, well, and Greg did kind of I mean, they made a big deal out of it. He did kind of the right back into the João Cancelo. He would be a very good João Cancelo.
Yeah,
Yes, I love João Cancelo. He's having an amazing season for City. Although I saw some, I don't know, some quantified sports stat thing came out and said that you may or may not have seen this. Who do you think, statistically speaking, has been the best player this entire season?
I have no idea.
According to the statistics of, well, this stat organization, it is your man Jorginho.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Beast.
Yeah, they said
Absolute beast.
it was like him, and then it was like Rui Diaz, Bernardo Silva, Gundogan. It was like 6 Man City players after that, but Jorginho was tops.
Dude, Jorginho has honestly been fantastic this
Great
year.
player, yeah.
Yeah, no, he's
Props to
finally
him.
he's finally exactly what Sarri wanted him to be a year and a half ago.
Well,
2
being
years ago.
designated pen taker doesn't help the old stat line either.
Oh yeah, it does. I loved it. I love it. Dude, he's one of the best penalty takers I've ever seen. Is he gonna jump? Is he gonna not? I don't know.
Okay. Let me put this here. I think you probably picked Jorginho, but one shot to win it all. Him or like 2012 area Mario Balotelli?
Dude, definitely Jorginho. Jorginho's just so composed, man. Balotelli would just
he
I know he would
like
just
30 in a row without anyone saving. You remember that?
yeah, but Jorginho was I think he was at like 16 or 17, and then he saved it and then he stopped jumping. And then Phil realized that he was gonna stop that, and then he started jumping again. Now he does it and doesn't do it. I don't know, man. He's just so nice. Maybe that's a Chelsea bias. Probably is.
Balotelli taking pens was always. I mean, back in the day when Balotelli was a good soccer player, that was easily the biggest disappointment of any player I've ever seen.
A better one would be who would you want to take pens, Jorginho or Mark Noble?
Oh.
Mark Noble, man. Mark Noble hasn't missed a penalty in so long. Mark Noble's a beast from the spot.
They'll pick Jorginho over him.
Yeah.
All right. One last thing I want to wrap up here because I got Kyle coming up in a little bit. Switch of topic a little bit here. I want to talk about E Cup, E League. Just kind of give me the rundown. And I know you playing in an E League right now, but I don't have the details off the top of my head. I don't. Give me a rundown. What's going on with you playing FIFA?
So I right now I'm currently in the EUSL, which is a league ran by a fan, and it's I think 40 something people, and there's 4 different leagues. I'm in the top league. I have a game tomorrow. I was supposed to have it today, but I'm just not going to do it because I'm just tired. But I came in 3rd place last year. They've had 2 champions, one being named Reagan, who is out of Ohio, and then one Jamie, who's actually out of England. But then I was also in another league called the Lower League E Cup, and that was made up of 144 people, and I made it to the quarterfinals and lost to the Jamie dude from England. So then I made the 2nd team all tournament. So
very nice.
Yeah.
So that's ultimate teams or club teams?
No, it's club.
Oh, okay. Club teams.
I wish they would do ultimate teams, but not a lot of people have the money for it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that being kind of unfair.
Yeah.
Someone has a team of 97 legends just because they have that much money.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's not. Yeah, I haven't put money into it this year, but EA actually just got in trouble because they were selling 2 prime icons and 3 team of the years for $1,700 to people. Just so crazy.
Yeah.
EA gate.
Yeah. Okay. So then, who's your go-to club team?
Go-to club team, and if we're doing 4.5 stars,
you're in the championship.
No, well, yeah, but if we're doing 4.5 stars, I'll do Chelsea.
Oh, okay. So it's is that generally what it is? 4.5 stars?
Yeah, for the EUSL it's 4.5 stars. For the lower league E Cup it was 5, and for that I did Bayern Munich.
Is there any way to like? Well, is there any way to like cheese the rating a little bit to get you like half a star lower or anything? Switch in.
No,
Put some of the
nope,
academy scrubs on the bench or anything like that.
nope. It's as soon as you it's because it's just
It's based
everybody's
on
just
yeah.
had the live performances, the live form I should say.
Is there any like is it just for fun or is there any monetary like prizes or anything?
Um, for I don't know about the lower league E Cup, but not for the EUSL. But lower league E Cup, I think you got like a free jersey or something.
Oh, that's cool.
So you
Oh,
got something out of it.
and you were representing the Indiana United, correct?
No, the so for the EUSL I represent the Indy 11, and
Indy
then for
11,
the
excuse me.
no, you're good. And then for the lower league E Cup, I represent the supporter section, the Brickyard Battalion for them,
Very nice, very
which I
nice.
just became a season ticket holder. So you'll be seeing
Hey,
a lot of pics from there.
how many fans are they allowed in their stadium?
I don't know because it's outdoors, but I got season tickets in the little supporter section, so I'll be there every time.
Yeah, my
Wearing a
mom's been
mask and
looking
everything.
at tickets for the Crew because they're opening up their new stadium this season on like
Yeah.
July 3rd. So she's
Speaking of, I
tickets.
get to register to get my COVID vaccination in 5 hours and 10 minutes.
Woohoo! Yeah, I need to get mine scheduled because I would like to go to Bonnaroo in September.
Do you watch anime?
Not particularly, not because I'm not interested. I just haven't found any that I got super into. I don't really watch a lot of TV shows or anything.
You should watch Attack on Titan. It's my favorite show ever.
I
But
watched I was watching the first season at one point and then I got away from it. But yeah, no, I liked it a lot.
and then second, have you played the video game Dota?
No, but I'm familiar with it. I played the game that game was made from. I played Warcraft 3.
Okay, well they just released the anime Dota on Netflix.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's so good. I'm on episode 7 of 8.
I would strongly suggest. Me and Stimson had a watch party, not last night, but the night before. For have you ever heard of a movie called The Fanatic, starring John Travolta?
No.
Oh, it is easily the most stupidly written movie I've ever watched in my entire life. It is an absolute treat. It's on Prime if you have Prime. You're fucking time, man.
I'll watch it, bro.
Anyway, did you ever watch? I know, super random. I gotta jump soon, but did you ever watch Club de Cuervos on Netflix? It's in Spanish.
I watched like the first 2 episodes. Did you ever watch Ted Lasso?
No. But I went to. I saw advertisements for it. And is that on? That's on Peacock, right?
No, it's on Apple TV.
Oh yeah. I don't have Apple TV, but I'm sure I can.
Yeah, it's so good. It is so good, bro. I cried at a point. It's so good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Club de. I mean, it was kind of weird, but.
Yeah, that's what I heard. But I'll watch it. I love soccer shows like that. Honestly.
Yeah. I mean, the on-field soccer action, it's kind of like goal where like the on-field soccer action, it just like looks kind of funky because they're acting.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah. So that's how Ted Lasso is. Good.
All right.
See you
Appreciate
later.
it, man. Enjoy spring break.
Yep. You too. Bye.
Yeah.